Well, hello everybody, how we doing? This is the Ramday951 and I'm here to bring you another video on the Vita. So this is going to be more of a sit down and talking with you guys one-on-one, bit rambling video about why you should buy the Vita in today's current day year of 2020 and even leading up to 2021. So let's start off. Why should you buy one? Well, when we look at the PS Vita, in my opinion, the thing just looks so damn cool. And when this thing came out in 2012, you already know this was the handheld that you needed to buy. Even though the price was ridiculously high at $250 starting for the Wi-Fi model, Wi-Fi only, going all the way up to $299 for the Wi-Fi and 3G capable model, people were just like, damn, should I really spend that money on a portable? And at the time, I would say yeah. I mean, something like this was just... It was crazy to think you could play PS3-like graphics on the go in something portable like this, in this small of a size. And it, just when you look at the Vita, I thought the PSP was cool. This thing just takes up another notch. It's like you have the PS4 controller with the screen on it. It's something crazy that somebody would make when they make those little modded GameCubes, and it's you see the GameCube screen, or you see an LCD screen, and you see the GameCube controls on it. That's what this looks like. So, I mean, just the cool factor of the Vita just gets me excited. Not only that, going back to PSP, this is the successor of the PSP. So, PSP was such a great mobile, and when I mean by mobile, portable, something you could take with you, not like mobile cell phone. But it was a mobile, console, and Sony tried to capitalize by making the Vita, try and make it great, and as people have explained, correcting some of the issues that the PSP had. Moving on to that, we're going to get into more of the hard facts. Portability, playability, replayability, affordability. Let's start with portability. Going back, like I said, you're able to play PS-like graphics on the go with your Vita and have a pretty decent battery life at the same time. Most times you'll get like around, if you're playing like a really, AAA high intensive graphic PS Vita game, you're going to be getting like around maybe 3 to 4 hours, more or less, maybe more, depending how you have your settings tweaked on your Vita, and getting really good fun and enjoyment out of it. As far as that, with the playability of this, you have access to not only the PS Vita store and library of games, a select few of the PSP as well as the PS1 games, and that's just scratching the surface. We're going to be, so far I'm going to stick with official Sony PlayStation stuff for now. But yeah, I mean, there's so many great titles, and stuff like Uncharted, Golden Abyss, if this thing will focus. Yeah, something like this, it's a AAA game. It looks really good, plays just as good as it looks on the Vita. Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation. There's also more, such as, I'm going to give you an example right here. We have Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. This is a port from the PS3, and, it was also on the Xbox 360. And look at, the PS Vita is playing this thing. And not only does it play good, it looks good as well. So, I mean, it's just crazy having this portability, playability. And with games like these, there's something that you could definitely replay and play quite a bit over and over again, especially with, being able to play online. Now, again, this thing came out in 2012, so a lot of the online capability has been limited just by, the number of people who actually play online, and some of the services are no longer working. Let's get into also on the... Staying on the note of portability and playability, is something called remote play. Now, a lot of people, I won't say a lot of people, but there's a good amount of people who've never really got into the maybe PlayStation scene, never got into the PlayStation gaming. And I myself, barely gained into this thing this year, maybe last, let's see, we're going to be in October. I probably got into this thing like early August. Or excuse me, mid-August of this year, 2020, I never knew of something called remote play, because I never really got into the PS4, also just got into that recently. And with remote play, you're able to actually stream and essentially play your PS4 on your Vita and on the go. As long as you have a Wi-Fi connection, and you have both your Vita connected to Wi-Fi or some sort of internet connection that's stable enough, preferably LTE, 4G, or good Wi-Fi, as well as your PS4, which would be preferably better on the Ethernet connection to get the best experience out of remote play. You can play and stream your PS4 directly to your Vita and use the controls on it to play the game, just like if you're playing in front of the big screen on your little screen. And the screens on the Vitas, whether you go with the older OLED superior model or even the LCD on the 2000, it looks and plays great. Now, moving on to what we call affordability. Now, in today's market, I would say the Vitas, what's going on here? The Vita and its value has held up, I would say, pretty well still. These things, when they came out at release, you're looking at $250, or we'll say, at $249.99 MSRP for just the Wi-Fi capable model. And then if you want the Wi-Fi with 3G capability, you're looking at $299.99 MSRP. And that was a lot, especially back in 2012. And that was basically only a couple $100, maybe $100 less than what the PS4 was costing. But now in today's market, I would say for a decent, good quality Vita, and you also got to take into account whether it's how good the condition is of it, what comes with it, whether it's games, a charger, memory card. You're looking at anywhere from $125, which is I'm using slang, $125 to $150, and that's not bad. But like I said, the value has still held up decently well, so that's still not a small amount of change. Now, don't get me wrong, you still find deals. I've recently just missed out on a deal. I'm kicking myself because I'm usually always on my local online ads, and one of these guys with two other consoles came up for sale, and they're asking $75 for the lot. It was 2 DSs, 1 Vita. I'm like, whether it's working or not, that's still a deal. It's worth taking the risk on it. And the guy sold the Vita by itself, and somebody probably offered him maybe $50, $60, $40. Still a steal, man. And yeah, so I mean, normally, again, these are going to cost you about $125 up to $150. I did get these. These are actually 3G original models, and I got them for $100 each. And you're thinking, man, what the hell? This guy's freaking crazy. I'm a bit of a crazy collector, but you could call me a fanboy, you call me a fanatic, but the Vitas are just so damn cool. And one of these is most likely going to be a birthday present for someone that I know of, so I'm going to actually clean one up and all that, but that's for another time. But so yeah, back to affordability. Games are going to cost you maybe $20, 25, 30 at most for a used one, and you're getting good games such as Uncharted, Assassin's Creed. If you want to get new games, it probably costs you about regular MSRP $60 for something brand new in box, which I don't recommend because they work fine just how they are. So affordability, it's there, but it's not there for everyone at this time, unfortunately. I've been seeing PS4 selling for as low as $150, as low as $140, $200. So the PS4 value is definitely depreciating a lot because of the PS5 coming out. Now, what gets me kind of excited is that the PS5 is going to be backwards compatible PS4, meaning maybe some options, even, I'm not saying it probably will be because the PS Vita is kind of dead in Sony's eyes, but we may see remote play return to the PS5. And who knows, even if the option's still there, it may be enhanced just by the hardware that the PS5 is offering. So it's a long stretch. I doubt it's going to happen, but it'll be cool to see remote play still somehow available. And it might be possibly because how remote play is accessible through your phone. So think about that, guys. Think about that. All right, let's move on to moving outside the realm of Sony's kind of perspective and kind of just OEM stuff through PlayStation. and we're going to talk about Homebrew. So if you guys don't know what Homebrew is kind of, I'm going to really kind of butcher it, but what I'm saying should give you about the gist of it. And Homebrew is basically allowing you to install unofficial software onto your PS Vita to allow you to open a whole bunch of new options to it. And what I mean by new options is stuff you couldn't do before, you can now do to it. And there's even, I would go as far as saying, it's definitely, is enhancements to your Vita. There's stuff such as emulation. That's going to be a big one that you hear about the Vita, is emulation. So with emulation, you are actually able to play some of your classic games that you enjoyed when you were younger, or even enjoyed at some point of your life on your Vita. And this, with Retroarch, open up the wrong one. Well, let me just show you this. With Homebrew, you're able to actually go back and play previous generation. I don't know if I mentioned this, but with Homebrew, not only are you able to play the select titles that Sony offered you through their store, now you could play any title. You could play any PSP title that was available, whether, no matter what region it was in, whether it was, Japanese region, the American region, North Americas, and yeah, and it goes for same for PS1 and all that. So something like this, you just open you just added more to your library than you had before. Now, moving on from that, well, staying on the same topic, talk about Retroarch. If you guys never heard of this, this is basically like a all-in-one emulation, just monster beast, and it plays all the way up to PS1 kind of games. But this thing takes you back, man. I mean, you could play. You're looking at I'll kind of show you a list, but we're talking about the SNES, some of these arcade, Atari, the Commodore, all the Nintendo stuff, the Game Boy Advance, the Sega Master System, the Sega Saturn. I mean, the Neo Geo. There's just so much stuff that this thing's able to emulate, and it does it pretty well. It does it pretty well. There are also stuff in the works, such as if you never heard of it, it's called Dreamcast. There's Homebrew developers working really hard and just making stuff happen that you would never think to happen portability wise. So the Dreamcast is something that's going to be eventually on the PS Vita, hopefully, and that will be a decently running emulator. There's also a Nintendo 64 emulator that still needs some bugs, but it's with every update, it's just getting better, guys. Just getting better. One thing I don't know if I talked about, but the affordability. The one downside to these guys is, especially, well, either one, you're gonna need memory, and sadly they use a proprietary memory card. The lowest, cheapest price is for 4 gig, which runs around $20 minimum. But with Homebrew, you're able to take that 4 gig memory card, in theory, throw it out and get yourself something like this, a 128. That's just the tip of the iceberg. 128, go all the way up to 256, maybe even a terabyte, and you put your micro SD in something like this, which is called a SD to Vita. And how this works is, it works the same way as your game. You just open up the little cover where your games go, pop it in, bam, you got yourself more memory than what you could do with. And again, you do have to have a Homebrew, or excuse me, you do have to have custom firmware, or aka modded PS Vita, which allows you to install something like this. You can see here, SD to Vita, and you're able to just you get all your stuff and all your games. And if you guys know, these games, especially the Vita games, they're about like a gig up to 2 gigs each. So I mean, if you got a 4 gig memory card, what's that? Maybe 1-2 games at most. So that's definitely a big reason you should get into the Vita right there. Is just being able to open up your library even more, being able to access a higher capacity memory card to play all your games and enjoy them. There's even little stuff like, check this out. The music application is pretty okay, but I like to listen to music and it's cool. This is a homebrew application called 11 Music Player, and this is the advanced version. The advanced version, what it allows you to do, I'm going to mute the music because I don't want to get any copyright against me. You're able to, oh, I forgot, you have to use the controls. You're able to play the music in the background. So you can see we're on 0-1. Go back to the main menu. And we'll start up something like Marvel vs. Capcom. And it doesn't work on all the games. You do need a certain, what's called a plugin. And I'll get into plugins right now, but a plugin that allows you to play it on all the games. So going back on Homebrew, like I said, plugins. Plugins are certain enhancements, certain little codes that are written, you know, kind of into the Vita software. I would say, I'm probably just not even saying this all right, but these plugins allow give your PS Vita enhancements. And what I mean by enhancements is you could actually do something such what's called overclocking. And with overclocking, you're able to get a more stable frame rate, and just your game just feels more fluid. Some games that may get bogged down by lag become more playable. One instance, if you never played, is called Nightcry, and it's kind of an indie game, but it's trash. It's a trash port that came from the PC. Really cool that they brought it to the Vita, but it just plays so poorly. Now, by overclocking my Vita, I'm actually able to play at a decent 25, sometimes pretty low, to it's about like 20 and up frames per second. And before I overclocked that thing was playing like maybe at, usually around 15, at most 20 frames per second. It was just terrible. And I'll do a video on that too later. But yeah, the enhancements you could do this thing is crazy. So, you know, with the Homebrew, you're just unlocking more potential that your Vita had that was never utilized. And it's not, I mean, there's so much more I could say, but it's just, you know, time's running short. And, you know, if you guys don't have a Vita yet, I highly recommend to look into one. You know, start shopping around, start looking at your local ads. I recommend OfferUp, and eBay is a good one. I had to get these guys because some of these Vitas are only found through importation, such as the Cosmic Red, the Cosmic Blue, I guess it would be called. It's just a blue one. So, you know, there's the silver ones, which just looks so damn good. The white one is in both regions. You know, it's in Japan and in the Americas. But, you know, I would say start there. Start first in your local ad, see what you find. On there, you're more able to, you know, what's the word? You're more able to kind of deal and negotiate with people. And, you know, with cash, you also want to be careful, obviously. With cash, you know, you get to skip taxes and just, you know, make some sort of transaction, and that's where you probably find your best deal on a Vita, is secondhand owned. eBay is more official. You have buyer protection, so you know what you're getting. If the Vita comes broken and it wasn't stated as broken in the description, you can always send it back and get a refund after filing a claim with eBay. And I've bought already, I would say, 2 Vitas, these two, and they are the most cleanest Vitas I've had so far, and they just look so damn good, and I do not regret buying them on eBay. But yeah, guys, I'm running out of time. At 20 minutes, this video will cut off. But like I just said, capitalizing on, just get the Vita, guys. If you already have a PS4, this is something just to add on to your PS4 experience, something to add on to your, you know, gaming career. If you guys are trophy hunters, you know, you could play your games, your Vitas, and these have trophies that go toward your account. So I mean, it's just so much you could do with these, and you know, I'm glad I got into them. Like they say, it's better late than never. So I just want to leave that message with you guys. Don't be. It's okay to be late. We're all late on a lot of stuff. Just don't say you'll never try it. And this is the Round 951. Until next time, guys. Peace.